And welcome to students in professional learning and development and education. This recording is intended to remind you of the functionality of MeMo, if in fact you've already been to one of the MeMo talks, or introduce you to that functionality if you haven't yet made it to one of those. I'll go through all the functionality of the software, especially in relation to how to use it to build your portfolio inside this unit. But before I do that, I thought I might just give you a bit of background into why MeMo was developed. MeMo stands for Managing My Effectiveness is Managing Our Effectiveness. We developed it as software to help users develop their own agency and self-determination in their learning, their career and their life by providing functionality that builds the habits of effective people. And we start this with self-assessment and self-reflection, which are in fact, the core springboards to any improvement anywhere. We now work in a number of countries and in a number of contexts, including teachers, principals, students, hospitality, nursing, all sorts of areas. I'll now just go straight into the software. If you're a new user, you can register down here. I'm happy to send you the registration instructions as long as you send me an email so that I know who's accessing it. Okay, so you send me an email, and if you haven't registered, I'll send you the instructions. They're pretty easy, but you do need to follow them bit by bit. If you have already registered, then you'll know that you need to put in your email and your password in. And then click on Login, and it takes you into the functionality of the software. Now, as I said, the core functionality of the software listed in our menu item down here are habits of effective people. So I'll go through them one by one and show you how to use each particular one. First one here is reflect and grow. So as I said earlier, the first sort of the springboard for improvement is reflection. So this gives you an opportunity to say how your learning was today. So you can dial that up to say my learning, I was anxious about my learning, I was uncertain about my learning, I was feeling competent about my learning, or feeling pretty effective, or feeling fantastic about my learning. And as you decide on that, you get to choose between some options down here. For example, it may have been that your focus was laser sharp, so you click on that. And then what happens is you get a graph showing how you're feeling about your learning this week, this month, this quarter, and this year. The reason for that is because teaching, like learning, is a pretty energy-sapping activity. And there are three ways to renew, there are three core ways to renew your energy. One is by getting enough sleep. I can't help you with that. One is by getting enough to eat, or actually the right things to eat, and I can't really help you with that. And the other is to manage your emotions. So this is where that functionality comes in to help you manage your emotions. On the right-hand side, you have a learning journal. So you might type in, I saw a kid kicking some other kid in a line in order to get move up the line today. Then you might write in, I reacted by grabbing the kid by the scruff of the neck and putting him back in line. I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done something else, and here's what I'm going to do next time. Basically a deep dive reflection capacity, so that you can really think about incidents in the classroom, in the playground, about your teaching, about the learning that's occurring in your classroom, and really think deeply about it. When you save that, you can save it as positive, negative, interesting, or innovative. And I'll show you where that comes up later. So the first habit that we give you functionality for is the habit of reflection. If you're only reflecting on New Year's Eve, you're not really reflecting. So you have to try and build it into a habit, and this gives you functionality to do that. Now, I've got teachers and students all over Australia, in fact, in London, in Peru, in Myanmar, in South Africa, all reflecting on their teaching and all their learning in this way. So hopefully that gives you enough about that particular area. The next thing that effective people do is know that they are on a learning journey. So this functionality tries to replicate your learning journey. And on here for now, there might be more later, but for now I've put two frameworks. The framework I'm opening up now is the AITSL, Australian Professional Standards for Teachers Graduate Standards. So you'll recognise these. You'll be able to go in and basically say where you're up to. You can self-assess here. Whereas in Reflect and Grow is about self-reflection, this is about self-assessment. And you can read this statement. I demonstrate knowledge and understanding, etc., 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 and then say whether you can do that yet, or whether you think you need lots of help to do that, or some help to do that, or whether you can do this independently, or whether you can do it expertly. And so the first thing you can do is self-assess. So if you, I think one of the things we ask students to do is do a complete baseline, go into every one of these areas and see where you think you're currently standing. Okay? When you do, you'll find that there's a couple of things that you can do. You can add evidence, and here's where, when you add evidence, it comes up in your portfolio. So you might want to add a document, a photo, a movie, an audio, a PDF, whatever you want to add, you should be able to add. If it doesn't add it for you, then give me a call and I'll find out why and get it sorted. But so you can add evidence at this point. Now to do that, you click on the word evidence and a screen will come up saying add. Then you just add, you choose it from wherever in your on your desktop, and then it adds that thing to your portfolio. All right. It's also the case that you might think that you have that you are not yet very competent in that area, and you might want to add that to your plan. So that little calendar icon there is adding it to your plan, and I'll show you how that comes up on screen later. You can also access support. So, for example, you might be able to access improvement strategies when we add them. You might be able to access websites. You might be able to access documents and discussion topics all around the graduate standards. Or you can add them yourself. See the add button? So if you come across a nice website that would be useful for beginning teachers, then you can add it. And the last thing that I want to talk about on this page is the fact that you can share this page. So if you can share this page with me or with Catherine or with your tutor or with your student colleagues, and they can see what you've, how you've self-assessed and carry out an online coaching conversation with you about it. Right, so while that screen looks quite simple to start with, there's quite a lot to do once you open up one of these frameworks. The other framework on there is the framework of the unit. And all the outcomes of the unit, outcomes and skills of the unit are on there for you to say how you're feeling about the unit. So we might know, if you do that, we might know how you're feeling about your progress in this unit well before you get your mark at the end. And we may even be able to adapt our teaching and learning because of what you tell us. So that's our learning journey. Now, the next thing is that effective people work in networks, don't work alone. So you can build your own professional learning network here. So here are some people already in the unit that have requested for me to be part of the network. So I'm going to confirm them. And then they are now in my current contacts list, and I will be able to carry out an online conversation one-to-one or one-to-many with them. All right. By the way, those messages were up here as well, so little message signals up here. All right. So you can build your own professional learning network and have good competency-based collegial conversations with them. The next piece of function, so far, effective people reflect and grow. Effective people know they're on a learning journey. Effective people work in networks. Effective people plan for improvement. They don't just hope to improve. So here's one that one of the statements that I've added as something I want to improve at. Knowing how students learn. Wouldn't we all want to know that better all the time? And in here, then you get a standard planning process. You can put in your specific objectives, you can put in your strategies, you can put in your logistics, that is who, with, where, when, why, how much, all that sort of stuff. And you can put in a reflection. You can also share those plans with anybody. If there are any resources attached to those plans, you will see them there, and you can add evidence at this point as well. So, effective people reflect and grow. Effective people know they're on a learning journey. Effective people manage their professional learning networks. Effective people plan for improvement. And effective people maintain their portfolio. Now, in the planning area and your learning journey area, you could add evidence. This evidence comes up here as your portfolio. And of course, you can share your portfolio with your mentor, your tutor, your lecturer, your principal, me, your colleagues, whoever you want to, as long as they're part of MIMO. Right? So effective people reflect and grow. Effective people are on a learning journey. Effective people manage their professional learning network. Effective people plan for improvement. Effective people maintain a portfolio. These days, effective teachers particularly need to maintain a CV. So that's there for you to build your own particular CV. So you might want to keep that in mind, especially as you're in fourth year and starting to think about preparing for making applications to schools for work. So that might be something you might want to access. It's not at all important for this unit, but that's something you might want to do. Effectively, people also get the big picture. So if you do that work, especially the reflect and grow and the your learning journey work, you get a couple of things. You get a graph showing your habit of reflection. So reflecting daily. If you don't reflect daily, then there'll be big gaps in there, and that will serve as a reminder of you that to make reflection a habit, you've got to make reflection a habit. Then you get a graph showing you how much of the framework you have self-assessed on. So you'll know how much is left. Okay, I've only done a bit of it for this demonstration purposes. But the bits you do will show up here as how well you think you're doing at it. Expert, independent, and whatever the others are. Lots of help, not yet. And not recorded yet. You can also get a graph showing where you are today compared to where you were by picking a date, what I call a return on learning investment graph, a ROLI graph, so that you'll be able to see how much your effort to improve has resulted in improvement. So that's going to be a very useful graph if you look, say, at the beginning of a unit to the end of a unit. How much more competent are you by the end? And then we have our manage our effectiveness. Now this is, so the first 7 bits are for you. for you to reflect and grow, for you to be on your learning journey, for you to manage your learning network, for you to plan for improvement, for you to maintain your portfolio, your CV, and for your big picture. But then we get an overview. So Catherine and I will get an overview of how the group is feeling about things and how well they're doing. So for example, this is how the whole group is feeling. A bit of red, some people there are a bit anxious. Okay, so let's go and see what they are anxious about. So here are the main reasons why they are feeling like they are feeling. Understanding what's being put in front of them, got things done but I feel like I'm a bit behind, can clearly see the contribution of this unit to my teaching, etc., etc. And then the red one here is I didn't get very much done. There's only 2 of those, so we're not going to worry about them. It's 2 people who have said that, so we're not going to worry too much about that. Then here's your, you know how I said you could save your journal comments? And you could save them as positive, negative, interesting, or innovative. We get an overview. We don't get the comments themselves, but we do get an overview on the categories of them, how you've categorized them. We also get a list of the 10 areas you're trying to improve at, although that's not an option, that's not an intention behind the use of it for this unit, so I'm not worrying about too much. But you can see that if we know what you're trying to improve at, then we might try and do something to help you improve. Then we get a graph showing how everyone is going on the unit and on the standards. Now you know that by the time you finish your course, you're basically supposed to have all these standards. So at the moment, it looks like we've got a bit of a way to go. And we can get a return on learning investment graph for the whole group. So that's how much more competent we've identified ourselves as of right now, compared to the end of March, so in the last month. Okay, so that's the overview of MIMO. We've got teachers, as I said, all over Australia and in the UK and the US and New Zealand and Peru, South Africa, Canada, all using this software to drive their own personal improvement in relation to their career. So hopefully you'll see the point behind MIMO, the point behind each set of functionality. For this unit, if you did reflect and grow, that'd be great. If you did your learning journey, that'd be great. And the rest of it's up to you, really. Can do, not intended for you to use necessarily. Oh no, sorry, that's quite wrong. Inside your learning journey, we want you to add evidence so that you can share your portfolio with us, because I think that's one of your major assessments. So reflect and grow, fill out your learning journey, and add evidence so that it comes up in your portfolio. Okay, everyone, thanks very much, and hopefully that makes some sense for you. Remember, if you have registered, this should really just serve as a reminder, and if you haven't, then you'll need to send an email to me, paul.williams@curtin.edu.au, and I'll send you the instructions. In fact, I'll not only send you the instructions, I will put them in as an announcement. Okay, so that way you can just get straight onto it. Okay, everyone, thanks very much.